Hello everyone, great to see you all here. Please let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. That's right, Florence, we will be starting properly in 5 minutes. But while we're waiting, it would be great to know where you are all from. Fantastic, thank you. So please feel free to chat to each other while we're waiting. And yeah, we have people here from London tonight, from Nigeria. Excellent. Wonderful. Thank you, Donna. So happy to be helping tonight. Hi, Sona from Florida. Minutes. Hi, Diana from the UK. Wonderful to have you here with us tonight. Sona from Florida, can you hear me okay? And Dana reminds me, if you hear no sound, just press the reconnect button and that should be able to help you hear better. Okay, 3 more minutes to go. Wonderful, thank you, Sona, for letting me know. So Sona's sound is fine. For anyone that can't hear, please reconnect. Wonderful, Joanne, great. Thank you, Sona, good. Okay, so it looks like everything's fine with the sound now. Wonderful. Just a couple more minutes to go and then we can start. So while we're waiting, what kind of a day or evening has everybody had? Very quickly, Adriana, if you could just try to reconnect because everybody else's sound seems to be okay. Dana says it's wet and windy in London. I'm actually based just outside of Frankfurt in Germany, and the weather's been actually quite nice today. Very cold, but nice. Okay, so yeah, we're just about to start. Good to hear you've had a good day, Dana. Great. Florence, I can completely relate with that. I have also just gotten back from doing some training. I'm sure that we can relax now together. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Well, before I start, let me thank you so much for joining me tonight. It's really, really great to have you all here. As we've already discussed, some of you have had a long day, so I'm really honoured that you're taking the time to listen to this tonight. Now, let me tell you why we're actually having this webinar tonight. One moment, I almost said lesson, that's the English teacher coming out in me. Today, in this webinar, we're going to explore, one moment, if my thing works properly, how you can learn quicker, with less stress, speak more confidently and fluently, and achieve the goals that best serve you. In other words, we're going to learn how to learn, transform, speak, and grow. So the next question really is, who can this help? Well, it could be you if you can relate to the following. Does any of this look familiar to you? Are you busy and sometimes burned out, stressed or tired? Do you want to speak English confidently for business? Do you want to give presentations, public speeches or training which really works well? Or do you want to define your wants and achieve your goals? Well, if you can answer yes to any of those, then you're in the right place. Now, my name is Cydnie Thompson, and I've designed this program with Dr. Yvonne Thompson, who you can see in the middle of this picture here. Now, Dr. Thompson has 40 years of business communication experience in London, including opening the first legally owned black radio station, Choice FM. She's talked to countless amounts of organisations, including the Metropolitan Police, Microsoft, and the British Army. And she's also given speeches at the United Nations, to the British government and to the European Union. So she really is an expert. So my expertise comes from working with over 100 different companies offering business training services. And here's me teaching just last week at Siemens in Germany, where in this session, I was actually teaching a group of project managers and software developers, and they're responsible for operating nuclear power plants. So their English communication skills really are necessary. But before I started teaching business English, I actually worked in the British media industry. So it was always around English. And here, as you can see, I worked for the Guardian newspaper, and I was actually an assistant on the home news desk. So what I would do is correct all the journalists, artists that came in before they went out. So English training has always been, and English has always been a passion of mine. And I've been training for countless companies and for years now. Now, when I first started, what I really loved to do was teach English grammar and deconstruct the language and offer it back to people. And that worked really well for some of my clients some of the time. But what started to happen was this. I saw that some learned really quickly and really well, while others just weren't getting it. And that really bothered me. You know, I had factory workers who were learning really quickly and scientists who were becoming frustrated with their learning development. So I had to sort of sit back and look at why that was. And what it all boils down to is this. It doesn't matter what you try to learn as an adult, you can do it in a very short amount of time if all the factors are in the right place. But here's the problem. If you go into a learning environment with stress and fear, then you have a lot to carry, and that will slow you right down. Now, actually, this is what a lot of language schools really want. And also, you know, people who are training people to speak in public and give presentations. They want you, and as many other people as possible, to learn as slowly as possible so that they can take your money over a long period of time. Now, I actually worked for 4 different language schools, and I became really uncomfortable at the way that they trained people in English. You know, by trying to earn more money, they were actually slowing people down, and these people were actually blaming themselves for their slow development. Author Mel Gibbons talked about it really well when she describes what is called the competence-confidence loop. And what this basically means is, the more you do something, the more confident you get, the stronger you feel about it, right? I mean, that's clear. And that makes you more successful, and then you do it more and get even better at it. But here's the problem. It works the other way around. There is also the fear and failure loop. And this basically means the less you succeed when you're trying to do something, the more afraid you are to try it again. And I've seen this with so many of my customers. I mean, maybe you've experienced this. They are actually afraid to go into business meetings or to stand up and talk in front of an audience because of bad experiences they've had in the past. And what Mel Gibbons says about this is confidence is a skill you build through action. That means in order to speak more confidently, you have to improve your speaking through speaking. And if any of you are non-native speakers, you'll know this, that if you sit in a group training course, you're not really going to get much practice. You might speak 5 to 15 minutes per week without any personalized support feedback, and that's just not enough to help you improve quickly in an effective way. You know, for example, you don't go to the gym, work out once per month, and expect to look like this, right? No. We need to train on a regular basis to get strong at something. And here's a really key point. The learning environment has to be an enjoyable, relaxed one. I had the same experience when I came to Germany. I learned academically, and it was good for a while, but after a certain point, it didn't help anymore because I had the knowledge, but I actually needed to speak, not just learn to speak, to be more fluent. Und ja, heutzutage, obwohl mein Deutsch nicht perfekt ist, kann ich auf jeden Fall fließend sprechen. For those of you who are not German, what I just said is, nowadays, even though I don't speak the language perfectly, I do speak it fluently. And, you know, this is a really common experience with learning anything, not just learning languages or learning to speak in public. I call it the obstacle as a learning ceiling. It feels like you've traveled a really long way, but at some point you go as far as you can go. And usually because your fears and stress are holding you back and you're trying to stay in a comfort zone. Author Josh Kaufman says it perfectly in his book, The First 20 Hours, when he says, the major and actually the biggest barrier to skill acquisition is not intellectual. Is actually emotional. Until you deal, you won't heal. So what does that actually mean? Well, we can go and try and learn a skill, right? And we can do that for hours and hours and hours. But you have to actually work on the negative charge and the negative experiences that you're bringing with you into the learning environment before you can actually learn fluently and comfortably. Now, we talk about stress all the time, right? But actually, it's a really important factor in successful learning. And there are 4 kinds of stresses that can really influence and impact the way you learn. The first one is acute stress. And this is the stress that you feel on a dark night with a mugger running towards you with a knife. And some people actually feel this when they're trying to use new skills that they're learning. I mean, I had a human resources manager as a client who works a lot with people in Malaysia, India, and the Czech Republic now. At the beginning, she was actually shaking with nerves before she went into a conference call. That's not a good place to be. The next kind of stress is something, again, we all experience, and it's what you call the chronic stress. This is the everyday stress. It's the overworked, underpaid, and totally annoyed by your children who won't listen to you stress. And we're not even always aware of it. But when we take it into the learning environment with us, it really does affect your belief in yourself and your ability to perform. Now, the next kind of stress is actually a positive one. It's what you call OI stress. And that's that big boost of energy you get when you're trying something hard or new for the first time, or just trying to expand your skills. It's a level of discomfort, but it's actually a really good place to be because you know that at the end of it, you're going to achieve a successful result. So this is not a stress we want to eliminate, but it's something we want to learn how to work with. And the last stress is unfortunately one that you just cannot avoid, and that's distress. We all have it. It's divorce and death in the families. And this, does affect how we perform on a daily basis. However, when you learn how to deal with all of these and also learn how to use them to your benefit, then you've aced it. And for anyone who's not a native speaker, that means you're successful. So let's have a little quick look at where these daily inputs of stress are coming from. Well, I don't really need to read you this list because you all know it. It's the money pressure, and it's the job, and it's health worries, and it's relationships, poor nutrition, And media overload. I mean, particularly today, we have got information coming from absolutely everywhere, and that's distracting. And then the last one, which I know very well with my children climbing into bed with me at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's sleep deprivation. Now, these are all things we all know about, but we have to deal with them before we try to learn. And, you know, learning is imperative. It's a must in today's world. When we reduce the impact of these stress, we get, in the learning environment at least, we get much better results. But when we do nothing about them, we end up with what Hale Dwoskin perfectly describes as, if you're not achieving, you probably have your feet on the brakes and the gas pedal of your car at the same time. And what this means is you're, you know, consciously trying to change and trying to produce new results, but at the same time, you're, you know, trying to stay in your comfort zone and avoid pain. It's something like a monkey swinging in a jungle. You know, you've got one hand on a branch trying to move forward, but you still got your hand on the last branch trying to stay in a safe place. And you end up stuck in a place where you can't develop your skills in the right way. Now, after almost 20 years of experience, I just don't want to be part of that vicious cycle for my customers anymore. I want to be involved in helping you move forward and getting more impact. And that's exactly why I designed the Speak and Grow system. This is where it started for me. Life was great, you know, and my German wasn't fantastic, but I was still earning great money doing business English training in Germany with big contracts, teaching sometimes up to 500 people in international companies. And it was all wonderful. But I was working 7 days a week. I wasn't paying attention to my health. I wasn't really thinking about levels of stress. And then, of course, life happened and the proverbial excrement hit the fan. And I ended up feeling like the woman you see on the screen. Now, within a very short amount of time, I had a tumor the size of a golf ball, an ovarian tumor. I was in hospital for 3 months. My father-in-law died of cancer. I was told I wouldn't have children and then promptly got pregnant 2 times. I didn't have anyone to do any babysitting, so I couldn't work. And, you know, of course, I was in a really bad place. So I got to a point where I had to do something about it. So I searched around and started to look at, you know, different options and what I could actually do to improve my life. What I found was so many different types of self-development tools, and I took what I needed from each one and finally got to the point where I found what works absolutely well for me, and I feel great every day. These are my motivation, my 2 little angels, who are, yes, also the grandchildren of Dr. Yvonne Thompson, CBE. And, you know, they were my motivation for moving forward. But through having to move forward, I found some amazing tools. And what I started to do was actually implement these tools into my training. I mean, it was Brian Tracy that said, personal development is a major time saver. The better you become, the less time it takes to achieve your goals. And that has been so true for me and for what I've been able to do with my clients. I mean, when you take some of the cutting edge technology from personal and professional development tools out there, and you mix it with speaking training or business English training, the effects are phenomenal. You get results so much quicker, and that was so important to me. So what I do is, yeah, I still do lots of business English training. I still give people everything I can and lots of grammar, but I also use all of these different tools to create much quicker and more effective results. So let me tell you about the kind of results that my training, the Speak and Grow system, has actually been able to produce. This system actually reduces stress to improve the learning impact as you're actually learning. It also increases fluency because there is intensive practice and feedback. So whether you're a native speaker learning to speak more confidently, or you're a non-native speaker learning to speak more fluently, you get so much of that with instant feedback through this system. And you're able to identify and grow your strengths, because learning well is not just about the content you're learning, it's also about what you're bringing into the learning environment. And that's why the Speak and Grow system is so effective. What it does is it eliminates limiting beliefs, so that you're not like the monkey on the tree swinging back and forth, but you're actually moving forward step by step at a pace that works well for you, and reducing weaknesses at the same time. The situation is this: if you're in a learning environment and you're feeling stressed, you are just not going to perform as well. This is where you start to feel distressed. So the Speak and Grow system increases your calm to the point where you get to the OI stress, the positive stress that is actually fuel for your development. And we reduce the distress that you feel in that environment. The feeling of, I can't, and I'm not sure, and am I good enough? That's all gone with this system. And that's why we get such great results. The system itself works like this. We focus on your business English development, and also if you're a native speaker, your development as a public speaker or a presenter. But we also focus on all the limiting beliefs that come up in 24 different areas of your life. Now, the great thing about this system is that you can choose what's relevant for you. You do not have to choose all of these, but as we work through things, you might find, oh yeah, that could be useful, or that might work for me. And we'll go through each of those and work through them until those limiting beliefs are just reduced and you're actually moving forward more fluently and more comfortably. Now, the way that we work through it is by discussing 4 key questions. We ask you, what are your beliefs? What do you believe about what it is you're trying to achieve? And that's the positive beliefs and also the negative beliefs. And that highlights and brings up some of the limiting beliefs that we can work on for you. We also ask what you really want. Now, this is so key because we look at something called the culture scape. And that is not just what do you think you want, but also what have you been taught to want through outside influences, whether it be parents, bosses, media, the culture you're in, religion. And we go as deep into that as you are comfortable to do, because that really gets to the core of what it is you want. Then we ask you another key question, which is, if you achieve this goal, what will you gain by achieving it, and what will you lose by not achieving it? And that brings up so much motivation for moving forward. And then the last key question is, what do you actually need to do to get it? Now, the system itself has so many really useful elements, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But let me just remind you of who the system has already helped, because I've worked with some huge international companies and they just wouldn't pay me the kind of money that they've been paying me unless they were getting great results with this system. Now, I protect the privacy of my clients, so I'm not actually going to show you some names. If you decide to use this training, then of course I'd be more than happy to show you some originals. But for now, here are just some of the comments from some of my clients. A software project manager from Deutsche Post said it was a huge support during restructuring. It helped with sensitive global communication for offshore outsourcing projects. Now, this guy was seriously stressed and under a lot of pressure trying to support his team. So he really needed that full personalized support, and it was urgent. You know, he was going into constant meetings, so it's just such a pleasure to get such great results with him. An HR manager from Goldwell talked about how it expanded her knowledge and helped her to remember what she'd forgotten, and also to develop new skills that she needed to do her work. A lab assistant from Merck talked about the confidence that they gained in conference calls and meetings, and just having so much less stress and nervousness. And this is really the key point of what we're trying to do with the Speak and Grow system. So it was just a pleasure to work with her. And you can see here that at the Fraunhofer Institute, which is a huge research institute in Germany, a project coordinator talked about how much secure she felt in her daily work. I mean, this woman was under so much pressure to be constantly communicating in English. So again, really great to have helped her. So those are some of the benefits and the results that they got. But what I'd really like to do now is talk about what you'll get if you decide to use this system for yourself. The system includes 60 minutes per week of one-to-one live coaching. Now, this is online coaching and it's very intensive. You'll be speaking non-stop, and yeah, we'll focus on the skills you want to acquire. But when you come up to those blockages, when you come up to areas where you can't seem to move forward, we'll be working through the Speak and Grow system to help bring you forward so much quicker. On top of that, you'll be working with only qualified native speaking experts. So, of course, there's me, but we also have some other people in our team who come from different areas of expertise. And I would prefer to work with all of anybody who decides to work with me tonight. But if we decide and you decide that you need different kinds of skills, we have a team that we can put you together with. Now, this is also an interesting point. We record each session if you want it at no extra charge, which means you can take that session and go away and use it to review. And you can also use it to see how far you've come in such a short time. So there are weekly training notes per email, and there's one monthly free business English webinar. Now, this focuses specifically on skills and on grammar and all the other bits that might be a good boost to your language and your communication. And now this is the kicker. We give you editorial support as soon as you start your training. And what this means is, if you're generating communication in English, we will help you to correct it and to improve it, you know, in real time. So your presentations, your emails and your documents, you can send them to us and we can give you suggestions for improvement straight away. I don't know of any other language school that does that. And I certainly know that this has been a really big help for very important documents. Now, of course, if you send us a 125-page document, we're not going to be able to help you fix that in 1 week, but we can definitely give you suggestions and tips and tricks. And what we will do is, once we identify what works best for you, we will start to do research for you about information and resources that can help you to achieve your training goals and also any other goals you have as soon as possible. Now, this is another interesting point, particularly for non-native speakers. There is optional socializing with non-native speakers, with native speakers. And that is so useful for getting you used to speaking English in all kinds of different situations. It's only optional, but we've seen it get really good results for people. So I know that there may be some questions coming up, and as soon as the presentation's finished, I'd be more than happy to go through them. So, that's pretty much what the system is about. It just boosts your learning and your professional and personal development all at the same time. And you're getting administrative and editorial support with your work as well. And that's not just from me, that's also from a whole team of experts, including Dr. Cydnie Thompson, CBU, who is just incredible. I mean, she's written books on the subject, and she has so much to offer. Now, this training is usually worth a lot of money. I mean, if you can combine the personal and professional development, the administrative support, and the business English training or public speaking training, there's just so much there. But just in this seminar, and particularly because you've invested your time and energy today, we've got a really amazing offer for you. Training is usually worth 400 euros, but we are going to just today offer you a 40% discount. So we're going to give you a 1-month trial at only 250 euros, and that will give you a really good chance to see if it's right for you, if it helps you as much as we've said it has. It's an unbeatable offer. Now, it is a limited offer because it's just not the something I can offer to everybody, and I've already trained hundreds of people for a lot more, but I think this is something we can really benefit you with. Now, if you find that, you would prefer to actually do something different, then we've got another option for you. We could also give you 3 months at a 20% discount. Now, I personally hope that you choose the one month trial, because I know that that's going to really show you how much you can do in such a short amount of time. And if you choose the longer trial, if you are not completely happy with the kind of results we could give, there is a 14-day money-back guarantee. And that means that you're trying the 3-month trial at absolutely no risk. We really can't offer more. The whole point of this whole system for me is that, as I said, after years of watching people, suffer and struggle through learning, I just found a way to get it done so much quicker and give people so much more confidence. And that's actually why I've put the system together tonight, and I'm offering it to you now. So you should be able to see that the offers are up now. I'll just start that offer for you, and that's going to be up until the end of this webinar. You have the option, a 1-month trial of the whole Speak and Grow system, including the live training weekly, including the editorial support and the personal and professional development, the weekly email training notes, the optional recorded video. You've got all of those incredible features in that 1-month trial, or you can have the 3-month offer with a 20% discount, and in that 3-month offer you will have an option of a 14-day money-back guarantee if you're not completely happy with that. So what I'd like to do now is move over now and just check and see if everybody can see the offer now. Please let me know if you cannot see the offer. And please let me know if you can see the offer. Okay, hopefully that should be up now. Please let me know. Oh, fantastic. Dana says she can see it now. Is that the same for everybody? Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so great, excellent. So what I'd like to do now is just give you a chance to let me know any questions you have, and if there's any other information I can give you. Please feel free to write your questions in now. There's a bit of a time delay, so I'll wait for a couple of seconds. No, so Dana's asking if this applies to any languages. So there are actually 3 different areas here. There's the business English training, and then there's German English training for beginners. And then the third option is the native speakers. So there's actually training to get over your fear of speaking in public, to make you more confident and competent. To make you feel more confident and competent. So there are 3 different options, and it's all based around the English speaking language. Joanna is asking how old the Speak and Grow system is. Well, the elements of the Speak and Grow system that we now use have been around for over 10 years. And I've actually been calling it the Speak and Grow system for a couple of years now. But what I've been doing is I haven't been offering it to the general public. I've only been using it in company with the companies that I showed you. And this is the first time that I'm taking it and offering it to the general public. Hopefully that answers that question, Joanna. But as I say, I've been using this, I've been training for almost 20 years, and I've been using this system as it is for over 10 years now. Any other questions there? Anything else coming up? Okay, while I'm waiting for any questions, I'd like to ask you, how do you feel about speaking English in business situations? If you're a native speaker, sorry, is it only online? Cydnie Thompson's asking. So I'm based in Germany. We do have trainers in London as well. But for this offer, this is an online service. Face-to-face has a slightly different structure to it and would be a little bit more expensive, but online is working beautifully because it gives people the flexibility, instead of traveling an hour to get somewhere, or running around to get to a specific location, you can do this online from any place, so whether or not you are at home, in the office, on holiday even, it's something you can just click into and have that much more comfort. Any other questions? Oh, that's fantastic. And Sissy says that they're enjoying it and that they've enjoyed what we've done in the webinar tonight. Adriana, the training is as long as you want. So there's a minimum of this offer of 1 month, or 3 months. I've had people who have gotten everything they need out of 1 or 2 months training, and others that have gone for a year, and mainly because they enjoy it and enjoy using it as a kind of a fitness tool. They keep themselves connected. So it's really up to you. As I said, there's 24 modules, and if you were to cover all of the 24 modules as quickly as possible, it could be a 1-year training. But as I say, we personalize it according to your needs, what works best for you. We go as quickly or as slowly as you need. Thank you for joining us, Shashi, I think. Please feel free to reconnect again. And for those of you who are still here, if you have any questions after this webinar is finished, please feel free to send them through to info@speakstrom.com, and I'd be more than happy to continue with you. Or if you just like to speak a little bit more about it online or on the telephone about how it would best work for you. So yeah. Diana, is there any discount for 1-year training? Well, you know, Diana, I haven't actually given a discount for 1-year training yet. But if you said that's what you wanted, I would be more than happy to extend a discount that would reflect the fact that you're making that 1-year commitment. And please feel free, Diana. I don't know if you said, if you saw that I actually put my email address up in the chat box. I'll put it through here again. Please send me an email and I'll get in contact and we can talk more about how that would best suit your needs. Now, I called you Diana for a moment. I'm actually training someone at Evonik, which is a sort of biochemical engineering company in Germany, and her name is Diana. Florence has just asked if I could please repeat the info address. I've just done that, Florence. I hope because of the time delay that's come up for you. So yeah, that should be up there for you now. Send me an email tonight and I will make sure that I get back to you by the latest tomorrow, and just go through any more questions that you might have. I'd be more than happy to do that. Okay, I'm going to put my email address up one more time for you. Speakstrom.com. So it's info@speakstrom, STROM.com. Ah, that's very strange. It's very strange. Can anybody else see the email address that I'm putting up? Let me set it as a sticky message. Okay, Adriana, I will put that in again for you. So give me a moment and I will just go back to the slide that includes the packs. Oh, fantastic, Diana. You've just sent me your email. So I'm going to just copy that very quickly and make sure that I have that. And right, let's have a look. The slide that includes the packs. Oh, are you talking about this, Adriana? Are you talking about the slide with all the modules in it? All the packages? Let's move back. So I'm wondering if, Adriana, you're talking about all of what you get with the system. I'm hoping that's the slide you're talking about. Now, for all of this, every week, for 1 month, it's €250 for a 1-month trial. But if you decide that you would actually like to have more than that, For a 3-month period, it's 20% discount. So that would work out at €320 per month. And wonderful. Okay, we've got it. And if you are feeling that you would like to take a longer extended period than that, but then because you attended this webinar tonight, I will definitely extend the 20% discount and see how I can think through giving you an even bigger discount. Okay, so Dana Thompson has asked if I can send you my email afterwards. So what I'll do is tomorrow I will send everyone who attended an email with the packages, the different options, my email address, and the different prices. But the offer for the 1-month free trial will only extend until the end of tomorrow. Okay, Dana's asking if I can put the registration link up. So I'm just going to see if I can do that for you. And there you go, there's a registration link. And I'm certainly going to be in touch with everybody who leaves their email tonight. And I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your busy lives to actually be here. And what would be really interesting to me is to know, what has your experience been with how you learn and how stress impacts your learning, particularly about when it comes to speaking in public. Dana Thompson said to sign up for the course. I apologize. Okay, so let me just double check. If you want to sign up for the course, just click on the offer that you can see on the right hand side of your screen. Speak and Grow 1-month trial or 3 months with a 20% discount. If there's any trouble with that offer or seeing that link, please do put your email address into this and I will send you an email directly. Tomorrow, I'm going to actually go through the attendance list and send you all information again on what the system's about, what you get on a weekly and monthly basis, and what the different prices are for the 1-month trial and also for the 3-month trial. I'm so looking forward to doing that with you. Okay, so I just asked, and I'd really like to ask again because it's so interesting to me. Could you tell me if you experience any nerves or stress when speaking, either as a native speaker in public situations or as a non-native speaker in, situations where you have to use English for business? And if it's something you don't feel comfortable about talking about now, that's okay, because, we can get in contact on a one-to-one basis after the webinar this week. But that's a really, really interesting point for me. As I said, I've taught over 1,700 people now, and the experiences are also always so different. So public speaking is always stressful, so any tips and learning would be great. That's true. Well, stressful is a really interesting word, right? Because as we just discussed, you've got eustress, and it's kind of the stress I'm feeling right now. This pumped up excitement that makes you want to just, achieve your goals and get your message across clearly and make sure that people understand who you really are and your authentic self. But then there's, distress and acute stress and chronic stress. And if you're feeling acute stress when you're in a public speaking situation, which is pretty much the same as using a second language for business, it's that same kind of really uncomfortable negative feeling that you can get. And that's the kind of stress that I love to help people to deal with and get past, so that they can communicate their message in a more authentic and more believable and understandable way. So any other questions there? I mean, please feel free to ask about my qualifications or experience or anything else that you might be interested in. And another interesting question, actually, while we're waiting, is how many of you are bilingual or trilingual? Who here speaks only English, and who speaks, you know, English and German or other languages? Ah, Dana Thompson is asking where I trained. Well, I studied English literature at the University of London, and then I got a sorry, only English. And then I got a qualification to teach English as a second language for business from Cambridge University. But actually, to be honest, Dana, my training came from on the job. It was actually being in companies. So, you know, I've worked for almost 100 companies now, including some world players. I mean, I mentioned I taught 500 people at Monster Worldwide, that over a sort of 8-year period. And that was all over Germany. Adriana's leaving now. Thank you so much, Adriana, for joining us. I will send you the email with all of the info, and you'll get that tomorrow. You know, and I guess the best training was not the success, it was the failure. So for all of the hundreds, actually over thousands of people who I helped and who said, you know, thanks so much, I can speak much better English now, and got all that positive feedback, the biggest training was those who were struggling, who were having problems with speaking fluently, speaking competently and comfortably in business situations. And it was working with those that gave me the most experience and taught me the most tools to help more people go further. Thank you so much, Adriana, again, and thank you to everybody else who joined us tonight. Really wonderful. Any other questions for anybody who's still online? You're welcome, Sissy. Thank you so much for being here with us, and please don't forget to accept that offer or watch out for my email with more information tomorrow. Okay, Dana says that she only speaks English, but she's trying to learn other languages. Well, please, Dana, think about what we talked about in this lesson today. You know, think about focusing on which things are holding you back and trying to eliminate them, and feel free to join our training and we'll help you to do that, because this training is going to help you in lots of different areas. Thank you also, Florence, so much for joining today. It was a pleasure to have you. Any other questions? Anything else that I can help with before we finish up tonight? Okay, so the offer is still there. Feel free. Dana Thompson signing off now. Thank you so much, Dana, for attending, and you will definitely get that information from me. Yes, Florence, the trial 1 month is €250. I'm not entirely sure what that is in the moment in pounds, but I know it's slightly less. And I will make sure that you get the full outline of all the information, but please feel free to take that offer now, because that offer only extends until the end of tomorrow, and after that it won't be available anymore. The trial, the 1 month trial, Florence, is €250, but you also have the option to choose 3 months at 20% less, and that works out to about €320 per month. I'm just looking here through and see if I've missed any questions. Yeah, that seems to be pretty much all there. So, any other questions before we finish up? Okay, well, we're going to be finishing in a couple of minutes. Let me just say again, for those of you who are still here, it's an absolute honor to have spoken to you tonight. Bye for now, Florence. And even if you don't choose to take the Speak and Grow training, please don't forget what we talked about tonight, and actually give yourself that winning advantage by reducing your stress before learning and acquiring new skills. It really works, and you're really worth it. Have a fantastic evening, all of you, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. Now, I'm going to leave the offer up for the next 5 minutes, just for anybody else who might want to have a look and check that out, because it's really an amazing deal. And I wish you all an absolutely fantastic evening. Try, if you can, to de-stress. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Okay, just before I sign out, any last questions? Anything I can help with? Okay, so if that's it, I'm going to sign off now. And yeah, I'll leave that offer up for the next 5 minutes. Have an amazing evening, everyone, and thank you again for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Goodbye.